Welcome to LondonLawTutor.com. In this short lecture, we'll be looking at the essential factors which are relevant to UK taxation. Tax law is quite complicated and is also quite technical, so therefore it is essential that you refer to the main sources of law, which include statutes, case law, and also the HMRC manuals and guidelines, which are very good at explaining the important aspects of taxation and how they're implemented in practice. Now, tax law can be looked at from different angles. For example, we have the taxation of income, the taxation of capital gains, the taxation of corporate profits, and inheritance tax. These can be applied in relation to gifts made during the lifetime and on death, corporate transactions, real estate, and trusts. It is impossible to cover all these topics in one lecture. However, I want to look at some important factors that underpin tax generally, not only in the UK, but on an international level too. There are three main factors which are relevant for the purposes of taxation: residence, domicile, and nationality or citizenship. For UK tax purposes, residence and domicile are the most important, so let's start by looking at these. Firstly, residence. The Finance Act 2013 introduced a new statutory residence test. Prior to this, the test was based on common law. Under the new rules, there are three different residence tests. Firstly, the automatic UK test. According to this, you will be resident in the UK if you spend 183 days or more in any relevant tax year in the UK, or if you have a home in the UK where you spend at least 91 consecutive days in any given period, of which at least 30 of those days fall in the tax year in question. And finally, if you work full-time in the UK. The second test is the automatic overseas test. This will apply either if you have been resident in the UK in any of the previous 3 tax years and spend less than 16 days in the relevant tax year in the UK, or if you were not resident in any of the preceding 3 tax years and spend fewer than 46 days in the UK, or if you work full-time overseas. Then you will be deemed to be resident overseas. Finally, if the automatic UK test and the automatic overseas test do not apply, the sufficient ties test will apply. This has 5 ties to see if you are sufficiently connected to the UK in order to be resident here. The ties include family tie, home tie, 90-day tie, and a work tie. Now, moving on to domicile. Unlike residence, the test for domicile is not statute-based. Domicile refers to the country where you consider to have a permanent home. Therefore, you could be resident in the UK by satisfying the statutory residence test, but to domicile may be in another country because you intend to return there eventually. There are 3 main types of domicile: domicile of origin, domicile of dependency, and domicile of choice. Everyone acquires a domicile of origin, and this is the country of your father's domicile. If your parents were not married at the time of your birth, you will follow your mother's domicile. If you are legally dependent on someone, you will automatically have the same domicile as the other person, so if their domicile changes, so will yours. This is known as the domicile of dependency. And finally, after the age of 16, you can change your domicile by choice. To change your domicile, you will need to physically move out of the country of your current domicile and have a settled intention to be domiciled in the new country. Now, you may wonder why resident and domicile are important for tax purposes. Well, both these factors, in particular residence, if you look at it from an international level, determine in which country you are liable to pay tax and also the process by which you pay tax. In the UK, for an example, if you are both UK resident and UK domiciled, then you will be subject to UK tax on your worldwide income and gains. In contrast, if you are only resident in the UK but domiciled, let's say in France, then you will be subject to UK tax on your UK earned income and gains and any non-UK source income or gains that you remit, in other words, bring into the UK. This is called the remittance basis of taxation. Domicile is further crucial in relation to inheritance tax. Citizenship or nationality are not important for UK tax purposes per se, but in other countries, for example in the USA, it is of great significance for taxation purposes. Now that we've looked at the main factors relevant to tax, you are in a better position to examine the specific rules in relation to each of income tax, capital gains tax, corporation tax, and inheritance tax. I hope this lecture has been helpful. Thank you for listening.